Hi, everybody. It is time for our daily political energy reading from the swamp. February 18th, 2025, Tuesday. So, let's get going here, shall we? All right, so I just did a general kind of what's the feeling today, what's going on today. First thing I pulled was what did I pull? The Six of Pentacles reversed. Like, oh, okay. Followed by the Wheel of Fortune. Followed by Temperance reversed. Followed by the Devil. Sorry, I had to hold that one kind of funny because you can't be showing people's nibbits and bits. YouTube gets a little upset. And lastly, the Ace of Cups reversed. And at the bottom of the deck, we got the Hierophant. He seems to be really popular lately. Seems like I keep pulling the Hierophant up in all of my readings, no matter what the question may be. Okay, so what does all that mean? All right, starting out, we've got the Six of Pentacles reversed. That means kind of things with strings attached. Okay, it's not a clear cut. You do this, I do that. This is the agreement. There's strings attached. There's power and domination. So you have one side of the aisle that's trying to dominate and control everybody. And you have the other side of the aisle that's finally starting to wake up to that fact and say, oh, okay, we're not playing by the rules anymore. Now what do? We need to remind them what to do. And then I got the Wheel of Fortune. Now that's, I always hear the song by Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Wheel goes around in motion, flying high like a bird up in the sky. I think that's the words. Anyway, this is karma. And this is what goes around comes around. That's that karma again. You're going to reap what you sow, right? So if you're sowing dishonesty and lies, guess what? You're going to reap dishonesty and lies. If you're sowing truth and equality and fairness, that's what you're going to reap, is truth, equality, and fairness. It's very simple. And then I got the Temperance, of course, reversed. And so that's an imbalance of things. That's going to an excess. That's extremes, overindulging things. Again, alcoholism, drug addiction, those kind of things, which that also seems to be coming out a lot this past week. For about a week now, I've been getting this a lot with Temperance reverse, or even other cards that talk about addictions. I think that there's a lot of people who are starting to self-medicate because they just can't deal with what's happening in their world. Well, it's going to be happening for a while, so you better get off the alcohol, put that beer away, put the drugs away. I mean, if you want to drink a beer or smoke a joint at the end of the day on a Friday night when you're at home and relaxing, hey, go for it, man. All power to you. But not constant, all day, every day. You're not going to accomplish anything that way. And then, of course, I pulled the Devil, which I have to be careful how I show this card because it shows bits and parts, and YouTube gets all kind of wound up about that. So I guess I'm going to have to draw close on some of my cards here. All right, so the Devil, we're talking, again, addiction, restrictions, temptation, um, codependency, toxicity. We've got all of these things that are happening, and it's all around us. And so we have to be vigilant about what we allow ourselves to do and what we allow for others to do. Because you don't want to see people make their situation worse by getting hung up on alcohol or strung out on drugs, you know. Like I said, if you're a recreational user, you know, blow off steam on a Friday night, more power to you. I have no issue with that at all. But you want to be careful that you don't abuse that little bit of relaxation, should I say. Okay, and then I got of course, the Ace of Cups reversed. Now that's talking about, what does it say here? Emotional loss, blocked creativity, emptiness, self-love, repressed emotions. A lot of what's on this card is what's leading to the alcohol and the drug abuse. It's because people are feeling it. They're starting to really feel it, especially those whose jobs maybe relied upon government grants or who actually worked for the government. Um, I work for the state, and I worry every day, are they going to shut us down? Are they going to lay us all off? I mean, you know, I'm at a university, so those are all possibilities, and it's a concern. It really is. And then at the bottom of the deck, I got a Hierophant. Now, he seems to be real popular for the past week or so because he keeps popping up in every damn spread I do. And this is traditions, your religious societies, you know, people who belong to certain religions will behave in certain ways, and they expect everybody else to behave the same way, regardless of what your beliefs are or not. And so that's part of what we're kind of railing against, is that if you want to believe in an evangelical faith, go for it. More power to you. I don't have a problem with that. Or a Muslim faith, or a Catholic faith, or a Jewish faith. Whatever it is that you choose to believe in, that's between you and your God. And nobody should give you any hassle about it. However, when you want to turn around and start dictating to me and to other people that they have to believe the same way, that's when we're going to have a fight. Because, no, that's not how I have to believe, and that's not what I believe. So that's not what I'm going to be focused on. So I think that a lot of people are going to be looking, and will continue to look at the Hierophant as an authority figure, somebody to tell them, what do I do now? How do I handle this? Freezing my ass off, y'all. All right, so let's bring this all together here. Again, I get the general gist of what I'm pulling, what I'm getting here, is people are upset, and they're hurt, and they're worried. A lot of people are regretting their vote. Well, you should have bothered to look up the facts before you pull that lever in the voting booth, right? That's why it's so important to be aware of what the situation is, to be aware of who it is that's running and what do they believe in. Now, granted, you have a lot of politicians that are going to lie through their teeth and tell you whatever they think you want to know. And, you know, you just have to ask Spirit or God or whatever it is that you rely on. That's when you have to ask, okay, I need your help in discerning what is the right thing for me to do. And when we do that, that helps us make clearer decisions on what needs to be done. So, generally, overall, what I'm getting is people are upset and they're worried. A lot of folks, they've lost their benefits. They've lost their Social Security, or they're about to lose their Social Security, or they lost their Medicaid, which there's a lot of people getting ready to lose their Medicaid. My son being one. Not happy about that at all. There's people that are losing their jobs. You have professors and faculty and students who rely upon grants to do research, because God forbid we should actually find a cure for cancer. Right? Can't have that. So let's kick that out the door. And so, we've got a bunch of yokels that are in charge that have no clue what it is to take responsibility and to want to take that responsibility of taking care of the people that put you in that office. Now, if you're like Felon 47 and you had one person that put you in that office because he knows computers, right, and has lots and lots of money, so he was able to do all kinds of funky things. Well, when that happens, okay, he's going to cater to that one person because that's who's paid for him. He's been bought and sold lock, stock, and barrel all the way through. And he's not ashamed to admit it, which is really sad when you think about it. So just remember that there's a lot of confusion, a lot of upheaval. A lot of people are starting to wake up and smell the coffee, if they're lucky enough to afford coffee. Bought coffee this morning. It was $10 for a canister of coffee grounds. I was like, this is unfreaking believable. $5 for a loaf of bread. I mean, it's like, yeah, okay. Some gotta give, right? But it's this destruction, this willing destruction, I should say, by one side, of trying to tear down society to the best of their ability. They want to completely dismantle everything so that no one gets assistance of any kind, regardless of their situation, regardless of what kind of money they may have access to. And a lot of people have no access to money. They literally live check to check. And this makes it easier for those who have nefarious plans, shall we say. Makes it easier for them to control us because they control how much money you're going to have to spend to buy food. Or they control how much gasoline's going to cost to put gas in your car to go to work. Or they control the job where you work and decide, yeah, well, we're going to shut this office down. We don't really need this right now. When it's exactly what they need. But, hey, that's neither here nor there. They don't care. I think that's the hardest thing for people to get a grip on, is they don't care. They really, really don't care. And so what's our kernel of hope in this? What is our message of hope with such a kind of Debbie Downer reading today? And that's each other. We've got each other, and that's all we got. Help your neighbor. Be there for a friend, a relative. If grandma and grandpa lose their Social Security and get kicked out of the nursing home, open your door and say, you can live here. Will it be hard? Oh, hell yeah. Will it be difficult? Absolutely. Will it be worth it in the long run? There is no limit to the blessings that you will get out of doing that. Not just you, but your children. You know, children used to be blessed with knowing their grandparents, some even their great-great-grandparents, because families all lived together. They all stayed together. And so kids were able to learn from the stories that Papa told them, you know, or learned how to cook a certain dish because their grandma taught them, you know. I used to tell my son when he was a little boy, he would go spend 2-3 weeks every summer with his grandmother, my mother, who at the time was living with her grandmother, taking care of her. So that was my great-grandmother, his great-great-grandmother. And I used to tell him, I said, do you realize how lucky you are that you not only know who your grandmother is, but you actually know and interact with your great-great-grandmother all the time? I said, there's a lot of people that the generations are gone by the time their kids come along. And that's kind of sad because you lose a lot of that insight and experience. I mean, my late husband would sit with my mama, that was my great-grandmother, when we would go and visit. And he and mama would go off in the other room, and she'd pull out her Bible, and he was really good at Bible talk, let me tell you. And they would discuss scripture for hours. They would sit and go through. It didn't matter if she went Old Testament or New Testament, what book she opened and started to pour through, he could discuss it with her because he knew his Bible frontwards and backwards. He wasn't a religious man. He didn't cotton any of that, but he knew his Bible. And she loved it. And in the course of them having those discussions, there were so many stories that she would share with him of when she was a girl growing up, you know. I mean, when she was a little girl, she remembered crossing Texas in a covered wagon because there weren't any cars yet. There weren't any highways yet. You were on dirt trails, and they went across Texas in a covered wagon. And that's how they got to East Texas and settled down. And it's stories like that. I mean, my great-grandmother went from travel by horse and carriage at the end of the 1800s into the tech age of men walking on the moon and space shuttles flying in the sky. It was like, you know, that's remarkable when you stop and think about all of that knowledge in that time span that this woman had and was willing to share with anybody who would sit down and talk with her about it. And my husband ate that up. He would sit, like I said, they would spend hours together talking about stuff. And he loved her dearly, and she loved him dearly. He was one of the few from the other side, as she liked to call it, that she really enjoyed spending time with. And at her age, she deserved to pick and choose who she wanted to spend time with. And she loved the fact that her great-great-grandson got to come spend 2-3 weeks with her every summer, you know. It was not just a blessing for my son, it was a blessing for her as well. And it taught my son a level of respect for adults that a lot of kids miss out on. So that's all really important. It's something that I think a lot of us are missing nowadays because we don't know our families. We don't live near our families. We're scattered all over the place. And that's kind of sad. So maybe this is all happening to help draw the family unit closer together. That's kind of the message that's coming through. is we need to all pull together, all draw together, our families, our friends, our communities. We need to learn to rely upon each other and depend on each other and be there for each other. There's our hope. There is our hope. Young or old, black or white, rich or poor, male or female, it don't matter. What matters is finding that unity and working together. And that's your hope. All right. Y'all have a great day. I'm getting ready to go back inside while I'm still at lunch so I can thaw out because I'm frozen. And I will talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.